The response was immediate and transnational. Within hours, #William and #Royal emotion trended across social media platforms from Tokyo to Buenos Aires. Major news outlets from the BBC to CNN interrupted regular programming to replay the moment. Unlike typical royal coverage focused on fashion or ceremony, commentary centered on themes of leadership, masculinity, and emotional authenticity in the modern age. Psychologists appeared on talk shows analyzing the significance of a future king publicly displaying vulnerability. Leadership experts debated whether this moment would strengthen or weaken his future reign. Cultural commentators noted the stark contrast between this display and the traditional stiff upper lip associated with British aristocracy for centuries. The consensus that emerged was remarkably unified. This moment represented a cultural shift in what we expect from leaders. Particularly poignant was a response from veteran and first responder communities. Messages flooded royal social media accounts thanking William for showing that strength and emotion are not opposites but companions. Finally, someone shows that caring deeply isn't a weakness in leadership, wrote one former combat medic. Another noted, he gave permission today for all of us to be both strong and human.
Historically, public displays of royal emotion have been rare and transformative. Queen Victoria's extended mourning for Prince Albert reshaped the monarchy's public persona for decades. King George VI's struggle with his speech impediment, as depicted in the King's Speech, humanized the monarchy during wartime. Princess Diana's physical contact with AIDS patients and her candid interviews revolutionized the royal family's connection with the public. More recently, Queen Elizabeth II displayed uncharacteristic emotion during her Platinum Jubilee celebrations, her eyes appearing to mist as she thanked the public for their support. Prince Harry has spoken openly about mental health struggles following his mother's death. But William's moment was different in its complete spontaneity, an unexpected crack in the royal armor during what should have been a controlled ceremonial function. Royal historians noted that William occupies a unique transitional space between centuries of tradition and the demands of 21st century leadership. He is the first future monarch to have been university educated alongside peers from diverse backgrounds, to have worked regular shifts as an air ambulance pilot, and to have been raised by a mother who prioritized emotional expression. This moment seemed to crystallize that transition from distant sovereign to relatable leader. Evolving royal role. Those close to the royal household suggest this moment reflects William's deliberate approach to his role. Since becoming Prince of Wales, he has increasingly focused on issues with personal resonance, homelessness, inspired by working with his mother, environmental conservation, and mental health. Unlike predecessors who might separate personal passion from royal duty, William has sought to integrate them, believing authenticity strengthens rather than diminishes his position. This integration comes with emotional cost. The memorial event touched on intersecting aspects of his life, his military and emergency service background, his advocacy for mental health, his personal experience with loss, and his commitment to humanitarian causes. When these aligned during his speech, the usual compartmentalization between personal feeling and public duty momentarily collapsed. Insiders report that William has been deeply affected by assuming the mantle of the Duchy of Cornwall and preparing for kingship while balancing family life with Catherine and their 3 children. The increasing absence of his brother Harry from royal duties and the advanced ages of his father and aunt have accelerated his transition to center stage. This weight of impending responsibility, combined with genuine personal grief, likely contributed to the emotional perfect storm witnessed by the world. Vulnerability as strength. The global conversation sparked by William's moment extended far beyond royal washing. Leadership coaches, corporate trainers, and political analysts seized on the episode as a case study in evolving leadership paradigms. The traditional model of the impenetrable, always-in-control leader has been gradually giving way to a more authentic, holistic approach. Research from institutions like Harvard Business Review has increasingly shown that leaders who appropriately show vulnerability build greater trust, foster stronger team cohesion, and create more resilient organizations. William's unintentional demonstration provided a powerful real-world example. By showing he was affected by the sacrifice he was honoring, he demonstrated empathy rather than just sympathy. By struggling visibly, he showed the human cost of carrying other stories. And by continuing despite emotional difficulty, he demonstrated resilience. This combination, empathy, humanity, and perseverance, struck many as the very essence of meaningful leadership.
In the annals of modern monarchy, certain moments transcend ceremonial protocol to reveal the human being beneath the crown. Such was the case when Prince William, the future King of England, experienced a profoundly emotional public moment that resonated across continents and cultures. This unexpected display of vulnerability from a figure typically associated with stoic reserve offered the world a glimpse into the complex intersection of personal feeling and public duty that defines contemporary royalty. The scene unfolded during what should have been a routine engagement, a memorial dedication for fallen service members. As William began to speak, his voice, usually measured and steady, wavered noticeably. Midway through his tribute, he paused, clearly overcome. For nearly 30 seconds, an eternity in live broadcasting, he stood in silent struggle, eyes glistening, before collecting himself to continue. This raw, unscripted moment, captured by cameras and broadcast worldwide, became an instant symbol of the burdens carried by those born to serve.
To understand the profundity of this episode, one must appreciate the unique journey of William Arthur Philip Louis. Born into the most scrutinized family on earth, his life has been punctuated by very public losses and responsibilities assumed at remarkably young ages. The traumatic loss of his mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, when he was just 15, played out before a global audience of millions. His grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, who served as both monarch and familial anchor, passed after a historic 70-year reign. And more recently, he has navigated the complicated departure of his brother from royal duties amid family tensions played out across international media. Yet through these trials, William has generally maintained the traditional Windsor demeanor, dignified, reserved, and emotionally guarded. Royal biographers have noted his conscious effort to balance the necessary formality of his position with a more approachable, modern sensibility, what some have termed the Diana effect. He has spoken openly about mental health advocacy, encouraged emotional expression, and worked to destigmatize vulnerability, particularly among men. But never before had the public witnessed such an unvarnished moment of personal emotion breaking through the royal facade.
The occasion was a dedication of the National Memorial to British humanitarian workers, honoring those who had lost their lives in service to others across the globe. William, as patron of several humanitarian organizations, had personal connections to multiple individuals being honored. Among the names read aloud was that of a close friend from his air ambulance service days, killed while delivering medical supplies in a conflict zone. As William approached the podium, observers noted he held a single sheet of paper unusually tightly. His opening remarks followed protocol, thanking organizers and acknowledging the sacrifice being honored. Then, as he began speaking about the personal dimension of loss, how humanitarian workers leave behind families, friends, and communities, his composure began to fracture. When he referenced specific individuals, including his friend, mentioning their laughter and daily kindnesses, rather than just their professional accomplishments, his voice broke completely. The pause that followed was not the controlled silence of a speaker gathering thoughts, but the visible struggle of someone grappling with profound grief in real time. Cameras captured the moment his eyes closed, his jaw tightened, and he looked downward, clearly fighting for control. In the crowd, several attendees could be seen wiping their own eyes, sharing in the emotional weight of the moment. Finally, drawing a deep breath, William concluded with a simple, heartfelt tribute that resonated precisely because of its stripped-down authenticity. We remember not because they were perfect, but because they were human. And in their humanity, they gave everything.